26, 2026, and you know why you're here, so let's kick this off right and introduce the players. Hey, I'm Gerissar, a WoW Raider now?
Wow, Raider, God. How the mighty have fallen. Hello, everyone. I'm TreesapJake, and I am the birthday boy, as it was my birthday Monday.
You are. What level are you now?
I'm level 34.
34.
Yeah. I don't know what spell. What spell would that be? I should really look that up. There should be a website somewhere that will tell you what spells you would be learning if you were, you know, a character in classic WoW, or that you pick your favorites, your class, favorite spec, and it tells you what spells you would be learning at what rank at that level. That'd be really cool. I think.
I feel like AI would do that, but don't do AI because people might get mad at you for using AI. So
it's true. It's true.
What
you could do is waste all that time. You could waste all that time instead, and just spend hours of your life researching what it would be.
Right.
Instead of just typing in.
Yeah, that's also an option. I mean, so are you thinking like original Dungeons and Dragons? Are you thinking World of Warcraft? Are you thinking like are you thinking
definitely World of Warcraft.
Okay, as a level 34 level. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure there's a bunch of different spells you could learn there. I feel like classic would be more appropriate though.
For sure,
Maybe?
For sure, because you don't really have that in retail anymore. So in classic, you'd be learning the spells at a specific level. And I always found that one of the most endearing parts of classic is that actually you learned certain spells at certain levels, and so you'd be looking forward to those levels where you got them.
100%. Yeah.
You know, so I think that was.
And not just get the new spell. Sometimes you would get a higher rank of that spell. So maybe it's like rank 4 of, I don't know, Ice Lance or something instead of rank 3.
Exactly.
Ooh. I get to do more damage and use more mana. Oh, that's a calculation and a half right there. But but congratulations, 34 is a wonderful age.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's some fine scotches out there that are just a little bit older than you, but you're getting there.
That's also true. I think that is actually a sobering thought, isn't it? Like there are whiskeys older than you out there, and it's very impressive.
Whenever I feel old, I remember that I'm not 50 yet, and there's 50-year-old liquor out there that there's stuff out there older than me. So I'm still in my prime.
You absolutely are. I was about to say you're in your prime until you're not, and that's just the way it is. So it doesn't matter what age you're at. I think speaking of prime,
yes,
it's season 2.
It is. Oh, I thought you were going to segue differently there, but yes, it is season 2. It's been season 2 for a week.
The most abrupt segue I think we've ever done, which is speaking of which, it's season 2.
Well, I thought you were going to explain why Big hasn't spoken yet, and that he's missing. He's away.
Yes.
So we're not sure where. We're not sure why. We forgot to ask him to blink twice if he was in danger or something like that. So he may have been captured by a person of ill repute, but I think he's actually okay, and he's just taking a bit of a break from all the content creation that he does and everything. So I'm sure he'll be back next episode. But yes, back to Jake. Season 2. I mean, we're 1 week in, right, of the season. 1 reset has happened. 1 tuning pass has happened. Have you played?
I have.
I shouldn't ask it like that. Of course you've played. I'm sorry.
No, but it's a fair point, because I definitely felt by the end of season 1 that I just had no desire to play anymore. I got legend, I got multiple elites on multiple different classes. I was like, okay, fine. I've done what I wanted to do. Now I can go back and play stuff that I was really enjoying, and that's kind of what I did. In season 2 so far, I joined a little late to the party. I definitely started playing on Tuesday, only because this last week has been really busy for me on IRL. I'm sure for a lot of people, it's very busy.
Fair enough.
So I have only really played a little bit. I played a little bit before the tuning, and I played a little bit today. Today's been also very busy for me. So what I can say is so far is that it's definitely an interesting state of the game. I know that certain high end people think it's in a really trash position,
Yeah. There's been a
for the
lot of,
balancing wise.
yeah.
And I think you see a lot of this feedback on Twitter, and you see it all over the place. I think for me, having played it, I've sort of joined big on the dark side. I'm actually playing Warlock of all things
What?
again. I know, right? I'm playing Affliction for the first time
Oh,
in a very, very long time.
interesting.
Because it's very broken and it's very strong and it just does a load of damage. They've really like overtuned it massively.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's a very, very strong spec. And the Succubus, the charm tech
Hmm.
that you've got where you can send your pet over and just get a full charm every DR basically.
Yep.
And the only way they can stop it is by waddling over and kicking the thing, or stunning the thing, or whatever.
Hmm.
Like that's extra CC that doesn't go on you, an
Yep.
extra kick that doesn't go on you, and allows you to cast. And then you just have to fake something, and you just load them up with five of unstable afflictions, and they just melt. Like people
Hmm.
seem to melt. So
Yeah.
I think affliction feels really good, and it doesn't. It's definitely strong. It feels rough kiting, but that's always been Warlock, and that's always been the kind of trade
Yeah.
off. Except now that they've massively preloaded affliction, they've just been buffed as well.
Hmm.
It's it's like you've got almost unhealable damage if you're left alone, and if people are kiting you, you can do loads of damage, but it's the trade-off being it's rough to kite as a warlock unless you're on certain maps.
Yeah.
So I think in general the state of the game definitely feels like there are certain melees and certain comps that are unreal. I think RMP are above and beyond the best.
Really?
um oh yeah, for sure. Like I think rogue like sub rogue does so much damage. Like they just solo people at the minute.
Okay.
And fire mages do a lot of damage, but arcane seemingly does a lot too. I
Mhm.
wouldn't say they're the most broken casters right now. I actually genuinely think affliction warlocks may be the most broken casters currently, but I think mages are very, very strong. But rogues feel very strong. Rets are live lords, and they do a load of damage too. DKs are definitely nothing to be sniffed at. Like a lot of classes seemingly do a lot. So in my opinion, the
Interesting.
state of the game feels all over the place just because of the fact that just so many things feel like out of whack. There's like some things hit you way too hard,
Mhm.
and others feel unkiteable. And obviously slows have been reduced, I guess. Like they're not as potent, so
Yeah.
people can connect to you. Apparently, Windwalker was also very. I've also been playing Windwalker. Windwalker feels very strong too, but that's
Okay.
just got a nerf on some of its abilities because with the four set, it's very, very strong. So I think we
Interesting.
won't really know until the end of the gearing when
Mhm.
everyone's full gear. That's when we'll know when how strong certain things are. But currently, the game feels all over the place. But I
Yeah.
think it always does when people don't have full gear.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Beginning of the season always feels a little like because there's always they've done some tuning, they've done some changes. Everybody, the tier set's gone. Gearing's a little wacky. There's a bunch of stuff there. So yeah, I find it really interesting everything you pointed out because I heard that Affliction Warlock was strong, but I thought it needed to have specific comps in order for it to really shine. Not that it would just be strong overall. So I have to ask first and foremost: are you playing Affliction with Ox or with your set team, or is that just in solo shuffle that you're just smoking people?
So me and Orcs trying to find. Obviously, as many of you will probably know, me and Orcanax are their teammates. We've been teammates since Shadowlands.
Mm-hmm.
We try and make things work because the thing is, neither of us ever play something that's meta, and I haven't done really for a long time until really
So today,
this expansion.
yeah,
Yeah, but like I've been playing Windwalker, I've been playing various different things to try and find a comp that works for us. And he has been playing loads of Devourer, so it's like trying to find a comp that works with Devourer.
yeah,
I personally think Windwalker works best because you've got an MS effect and it does a lot of burst
mm-hmm.
damage, which Devourer has at the minute. But Devourer's just been massively nerfed too. Like they've got no survivability. So I
Yeah.
think most Devourers are having to swap to playing like a full verse
Mm, that's different.
build as opposed to like loads of mastery. So that was their trade-off for
Mm-hmm.
I guess for the way that they were last
Yeah,
patch
they're
is
definitely more glass cannon. I've heard that.
Yeah, glass cannon. Yeah. They do a load of damage, but
Oh
it's
yeah,
very glass cannony. So
yeah.
it's whether you can play with a decent melee that can kind of like keep them there. But alternatively, we did try Affliction Warlock Devourer, and they just leave him alone. So he does full casted
Because
massive
they're too
amounts of
busy
damage.
worried about you. That's funny.
Because it's too busy worrying about me, which is cool. But it's like if I was better at Affliction Warlock, that it would go so much better. But it
Mhm.
hasn't gone very well because I'm not so great at Affliction Warlock because I haven't played Warlock in ages.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm keen to try and play it more in solo shuffle. Like I just hit 1600
Mhm.
in solo shuffle, so I've got my 2 set now and everything. And I think I'll just be kind of keeping an eye on how MMR goes and whether it will go sky high again, and see whether I can get to 1800 and just kind of slowly push my way up in
Nice.
shuffle. Slowly play
Yeah.
things in threes, but I think yeah, it's sort of
Okay.
the comps feel interesting. Threes feels where it feels the most imbalanced. If I'm honest,
Yeah.
like threes feels horrendous. And whenever
Okay.
you queue, you're queuing at 1600 into rank ones and gladiator players.
Yeah.
So, it's almost impossible to actually learn how to play anything in threes.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
yeah,
always week
that's
one,
where I
right?
think. Well, it is always week one, but at the same time though, it does feel like threes is really imbalanced, and I think that's where most people's gripes are. Like solo shuffle is whatever; it doesn't feel too bad, but
Um,
threes feels really tough.
So the things that I've heard. So full disclosure, everybody, I have not been queuing PvP. I said this last time, but I joined one of my guild's raid teams, and we do one night a week raiding. So I've been very focused on learning how to heal on a preservation evoker, so I can at least try to be somewhat competent in this raid, and then also gear up a bunch because outside of that one night, obviously there's a bunch of expectations that we do a bunch of other work. So I haven't had a chance to even buy honor gear in this new season, let alone even queue on any of my characters. Um, that said, yeah, going back to what you said, like a lot of what I've been seeing on social media, from other content creators, things that people have been saying in our Discord is, yes, things are pretty wacky right now. That warlocks are very strong. I heard disc priests are very strong, which is counter to the fact that holy priest was like the number one healer all last week until it got nerfed today. Um, but I also heard that games were like, and not just threes, but also shuffle. The games were going super dampening right now because of the some of the nerfs to the burst that has happened. Yes, there's a bit more sustained, but the strength of the healers is so strong that games have been going to like 90% dampening, where people's fingers are actually going numb from trying to just stay alive and do everything they need to do. Which I was kind of wondering about because this latest patch they changed the stamina bonus for the trinket bonus, right? As well as turned it to, what was it, a stat. I think they buffed the stat bonus as well, if I remember correctly. So I find it interesting the way you're talking. It doesn't sound like you've been impacted or finding the games going super long. And is that maybe it's just because you're getting so much damage out?
I wouldn't say I don't. My limited experience in the last kind of 2 or 3 days has
Mm-hmm.
been that it doesn't feel like the games last very long. Especially
Interesting.
threes doesn't feel like it lasts very long. It doesn't feel like shuffle does. Like sometimes you'll one tap someone, or sometimes games will go on a little longer, and obviously healers are starting to struggle. But it never feels like it's deep dampening. It doesn't feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's really going on any longer than it did last season. So the
Okay.
truth is, I think for a certain level of player that might be the case. I think maybe, rank one
Mm-hmm.
BlizzCon AWC players may be putting themselves into dampening, but those are players that play at an exceptionally high level
Yeah.
that none of us should ever aim, will never. Well, some of us may do, but most would never aim to be playing at that level. And I think when you're playing at that level, you're able to play the game so well that you can drag it into that deep dampening by playing
Absolutely.
clever
Yeah.
and understanding the mechanics of your character. So I
Mm-hmm.
think the truth is that I haven't really noticed that yet, but I think we'll feel it more when we're fully geared. So I think there'll
Yeah.
be a lot of feedback probably from playing it on the PTR and going, okay, what does this feel like? It will probably be very damp with the full gear, because you'll have full gear, full enchants, full everything. You know, you've got everything
Yep.
stacked up. You've got all of the buffs, all of the stamina, everything on top of, as you say, the percentage increase on the trinkets. So their trinket bonus, sorry. So I think there will be a lot that will add up together to make it feel like it's more dampening, especially with, I think, classes that are inherently tanky, like Warlock, that
Yeah.
have got extra health, like DKs, you know, stuff like this will be, I think, tankier and stronger.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I did, you know, I honestly thought some classes would be god tier, but you know, warriors, for example, I thought they would be god tier, but actually, you know what, they do get eaten. Like a lot of classes do get eaten by others at the minute. It's just, you know,
Huh.
we'll have to wait and see until everyone's fully good.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing I heard. Like MS effects were kind of king right now again because of the stamina, and so things like Arms Warrior, what you said, Windwalker, uh, you know, any class that really has any sort of an MS effect has been somewhat somewhat king, I'd say, right in this past couple weeks. So it's interesting. Again, it's interesting. Again, I can't help but wonder if the reason why you're not finding it is just because Oxen, how much damage he puts out. Plus, you know, you're kind of riding on some S tier that you're just able to run things over. Did you?
Sort of,
Did you?
but I also
Oh, sorry.
think he's quite weak though as well. Like either
Mhm.
we win games hard, or and we do too much damage, or we just die. Like
Hmm.
that was kind of it. Like the healers were unable to keep us up.
Oh,
So
okay.
whilst some people are saying it's dampening, maybe it also might just be people re-rolling and playing healers, and we're just taking in people that aren't very good. But it just
Maybe.
felt like we just died. Like we'd be kiting and playing as we
Mhm.
usually have done, and just some healers are unable to hold us up. Just how it is.
I think that is just the way the healers are. Like it's week one,
Mm.
it was Holy Priest or nothing. It seemed like, and now it's Holy Disc. Preservation is doing really well, but it looks like Resto Druid is also doing really well now with the buffs that they got. So it seems like maybe maybe in like 2 weeks or something there might be the tune might change a little bit. The meta will definitely settle out. Um, I can't help but wonder because you're saying you're trying to learn and playing 1600 into rank ones is a little ouch and hard to learn on.
Yeah.
Have you thought about going into that training grounds and just going in there just to like kind of learn it a bit and then go back into threes?
I've not actually. I didn't think about it. That's actually a
Okay.
good point. Like I know that the training grounds is a new thing. I
Hmm.
might have to give it a try and see what happens. That's like now. How do you? Oh, okay, so you just what you do is you go into your, I guess, your PvP
Yeah.
section, which I think is G now. If you don't
I
have that bound, it's
I
not
I
H anymore.
well, I turned it back to H because I said screw you,
Oh, okay, of
Blizzard.
course.
You're not
No,
getting rid of
nice.
my H.
Yeah, screw the housing. Let's go. H is for
Yeah.
honor. So you
So
press H if
I
you.
did Shift H was for housing, but H
Oh,
is
nice.
honor. Yeah.
There we go. And then you go to training ground, and then you can click random arena. Uh,
Hmm.
and
But
it's practice in a 3v3 arena against game controlled opponents.
yeah, but you have to be in the threes team. You can't solo queue it.
You do?
Yeah.
You can.
What?
I only say that because I am pressing it. I've just pressed it myself to see what happens, and you can solo queue it.
Ah,
I
everybody.
am.
So I
I
never
am the only
tested
one.
it. Oh, really? Are you with bots?
No, it's with another player. So,
Ah,
guys, I promise you, I'm not playing games whilst we're doing the podcast. I just happened to have WoW open and thought I'd see what happens
this
here.
this is for live testing purposes only. That's interesting because
Yes.
everybody was saying from the PTR is that you had to be in a threes team. You couldn't just solo queue it
No, no, no.
if you wanted a party. Huh.
No,
Okay.
you can do it. And what's happened is it's put me with another player, and it's
Hmm.
given us an AI healer.
Oh, that's snazzy. That's awesome.
So you can queue it alone or
Hmm.
queue it with one other person, and
All right.
then go in the training grounds and
Maybe I'll do.
do it.
Okay. I think I know what I'm doing
If you want to
tonight.
practice,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
Gerissar, just go into training grounds
yeah.
and do it there.
So
So yeah, it allows you
so
to do it.
two things I want to point out is if you know the tent right by the bank where there's the weekly quest peoples. So they have the one that does like the time walking dungeons and that. again, they did another one for doing PvP stuff. It's a 3-week quest to give a piece of honor or hero track jewelry, and the week one, if you, as soon as you take the quest, it gives you 2 honor token trinkets. It gives you medallion and alacrity or alacrity. So you automatically get your trinket bonus. So if you have a person who's new to it or a brand new character and you don't have the honor, just go talk to the person and boom, automatically get trinkets. And that's week 1. And then week 2 is so week 1 is to win, I think it's like 2 or 3 BGs, training grounds, arenas, whatever. Week 2 this week is you have to I think you have to win 2 arenas, but you have to CC somebody like 5 times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool idea. I can say, by the way, these bots they're not awful. Like they definitely they know how to kick.
So they're ish. It's oh, thank you chat. Win 2 and UCC 5 times in week 2. So they're not bad, but their logic on who to kick and when to kick is a little bit off. And because they're bots, they're not actually players. Some of the things don't work properly. Like what is it? The paladin one, blinding light, apparently doesn't stun them or daze them. There's some CCs that just don't work on them, and things like that. So it's it's close. I'll say it's pretty darn close, but there's still a little bit offs. So yeah, some of the druid doesn't stealth or use bear form. It's always boomkin. I mean, that's kind of complex. I know some players that don't even do that. So
exactly, and I think, to be honest with you, it sort of simulates sort of how it would be if you were to play against someone of a similar level. So
yeah, maybe.
whilst I get it, like in the one that I just did now, it basically was like the enemy druid was like running at me with their rogue.
Yeah.
And
yeah, the tunnel.
But it simulated step kicks. Like I'd go to cast and the AI would see it and step kick me. So there's definitely like room for it to be super juiced.
Yeah,
if they wanted to.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting.
So I mean, that would be nice if they iterate on it. I don't know if they will. I mean, so I really hope they do. I hope they do. I hope it's not in the same way as like, when they put a BG and then it's like, okay, it's in, and then unless there's like something game breaking, they never touch it again. I don't know. It's hard to be convinced that they're going to go back and do anything with this though. No different than how there's some issues with other things that they don't go back and iterate on. Just it seems to be so. Here's a question or thought: is it seems like in World of Warcraft they will build something, and they will only tweak it when they find that something is not fun for the massive players, the massive amount of players. So if it's current raid and there's something wrong with the raid that's just not fun, and there's obviously millions of people playing it, then they'll fix that because that would look bad. But it feels like for PvP, although everything PvP seems to be very evergreen and has like this infinite use, they never seem to really go back and iterate on it. I think there was a couple times in the years, I'd say up to up to like Legion, where they actually went back and redid some of the battlegrounds in that, and then when they upgraded all the old battlegrounds and fixed some of the line of sight issues, I think that was the last time they really did anything. I haven't really seen them go back and update anything. Actually, I guess I can't really say that. They went back and they tweaked the glaives and the doors in Isle of Conquest, because people were cheesing that so hard that they had to.
Yes.
So
yeah, that was a cheating thing though, so it's kind of they did have to. I think the one thing that I think about often is their real struggle with mind control.
Yeah.
And my personal thoughts is just take it out of the game. It's one of the most miserable spells to play into.
I know.
And I think it's like just remove it. Honestly, remove it at this point. Bring back Blaze Edge and remove it.
I know it's too late for this. If they went on and they did anything to acknowledge mind control bugs and anything right now, I think it would be obviously way too late. But I'm a little miffed that within 1 week of this patch, there's been a blue post acknowledgement that yes, there's a problem right now with Battle Visage as Evokers, and it's causing people to disconnect. There's a bunch of bugs right now with Evokers, but this one specifically, when you're switching back and forth between Dragon form and regular form, that it's causing you to disconnect. The game can't figure it out fast, or something in the anti-cheating thinks you're cheating. So they're trying to figure that out, but they acknowledged it like 1 week in. Yeah, okay, guys, we know, we're working on it. Sorry, we acknowledge we're working on it. Like, where was that 3 years ago for knocking people out of the world, or the MC bug, or anything? Like, it just chaps me. I'm a little choked that we still don't have at least acknowledgement, and there's enough posts on the forums. One other thing, and I think about it. So you know how they added in the account wide debuff if you miss Q for solo shuffle and for BG Blitz to help counter Q syncs. Week 1, it looked like it was also working in all modes. So it also worked in unrated BGs, which was harming the unrated, or the Q sync guilds and communities, the ones that for the epics and that. So now with the recent patch, or one of the hotfixes it just did, apparently that went away. So now all the epic communities are back to Q syncing and just ruining battlegrounds for people.
So annoying.
I know.
It's so sad to hear that. It's sad to hear they really addressed something and then just kind of bottled it.
I think they didn't mean to.
No,
I think they meant it only to be for solo shuffles.
But that's the problem. They don't mean to do it, and then they do something like an intern presses a switch, and another whole community has a miserable time. So I think just sadly that is the case of WoW PvP more than anything.
But I applaud the intern for doing it correctly, if that was the case, because the intern did it for every queue, not just solo shuffle and BG Blitz. And then somebody's like, "Oh no, we wanted that only for this." Like,
well, yes, in that sense, I agree that was a good thing. But then they backtracked, and that's a bad thing. So, I think there's sadly a lack of love and one of the reasons why I make the daily retweet is because we are missing that centralized location in which everyone can lobby these thoughts and they collect that information and then make it better, because it's kind of free, to be honest, for them. Like I would say, if they had someone who's in charge of social media just partly run that account and then gave a social media intern that's working for them the job to just like go through and sort through some of the complaints and kind of look for multiples of them.
Dude, I would not put an intern in charge of like the WoW PvP feedback on Twitter.
No, not in charge of it. I mean, I know why you're saying that. Obviously, that would be horrendous. But I think, but in terms of what I mean is, there is a dedicated person for it. However, the intern, like the dedicated person could, I suppose the dedicated person could sift through it all. That's part of their work. But if you were worried about actually hiring someone and then them doing the job, have whoever runs the social media accounts anyway run that account still, but then have an intern look through the complaints and categorize what they are. So let's say, one day you've gotten a load of complaints and 25% of them is about how this one class has got this damage, and then you pass that back. And the idea of the devs is then to go, okay, well, there's a load of people giving us feedback saying this class in specific PvP feels really gross. Let's investigate. They then have a look, they analyze and go, actually, it is. It's doing better than intended. So let's give it a 5% or a 2% nerf, for example. And they're led there by that little crumb of evidence that came from these people messaging. And I think that's kind of what I'm talking about, a centralized location in which in which, you know what, not all of the complaints can get fixed, but a greater amount of them could be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And then, all the Warcraft PvP devs would have to do is tweet out one time, said, look, we've read through the recent ones, we're looking into it. And then that way people are like, oh, thank you so much. Now, obviously, they are going to get abuse anyway, because humans are evil little cretins, and they're always going to be upset. So, but it's the job of the social media manager, as they will be aware in multiple different channels, whether it's a different business or not, that there will always be trolls, and there will always be people that are out to like cause distress and harm. You just got to sift through those and look through look for, sorry, the positive ones that are giving actual constructive feedback and are actually bringing awareness to it. And I think a majority of the WoW PvP community have learned that is the way that they would respond to that.
So I think I have to be clear here, though, is that the response that we have for specifically this one about the battle visage and just evokers in general, that's from the official forums. That's a blue post in response to somebody that posted on the forums there. Which, so yes, I know you've been asking for something on X or Twitter for literally years now. I totally applaud it, but I think really what we should do is change that tune and just actually go back and say, can we at least get some blue feedback, some response about PvP on your own official forums? Because if you ever go into the PvP section, like, it doesn't even look like it's moderated. Yeah. Like, I don't even think they pay attention to it. Like,
I'm not surprised. I think that it's probably a hellhole. But that's why I liked X as an option. Like, having that on X and certain social media platforms allows people to come in and actually lobby their feedback. And you can look for the blue check mark if you want to, as a sign of someone that's serious. Like let's be real. Like,
pay for that now. I mean, somebody. Sorry to cut you off. Somebody can totally cheese that. Somebody could go out and spend $1,000 and make a bunch of Smurf bot accounts, blue check them, and then just spam them, right?
You could do, but first of all, that is significantly cringe, and I think the amount of people that people do, I'm sure people do, but the amount of people that do that and actually are able to actually lobby an opinion versus going on and seeing Infernion, who is well established, or Peekaboo as are you offering feedback from established accounts that you know what, they're the upper end, but there will be other people like the middle management, like I guess myself or some other people, where they're not the highest XP people, but they are playing from a position of somewhat high elo, and you go, okay, well, there's a spread of people. Some people who do have blue check marks, who are actively engaged, who obviously are, they've got a certain following. It's not like they're a random bot that's got 0 followers, 0 followed, and they've got a blue check mark and they've been spamming this and they've got other stuff. But I think that's kind of the way I see it. Like, that would be the way I'd do it. But Blizzard, I think, sadly have a lot of trauma and they don't want to do that, which is a shame.
I think it's not there's like this duality where they don't want to do some things because of trauma, and at the same time they only want to do stuff in their own ecosystem. Like, yes, they go to social media to promote things because they know that's where everybody goes, but that's just advertising for the most part. Like, they're just trying to generate interest and maintain that interaction, which then raises their profile out there to then attract more players, versus any quality information that comes from them seems to really only come from their own official posts in their own ecosystem that they control, and that they can control. You go into the forums and you can swap between 8 different characters and make 8 different posts and talk and make it look like there's this big conversation. But as soon as they take a look at it and see that it's all tied to the same BNet account, they're like, okay, chum, we can see this.
Disregard it. And that's the thing. Like, you've got so many. Like, yes, people have the ability to mass produce multiple accounts,
Hmm.
but and spend $1,000 on that. But to be honest, you kind of already won as Blizzard if you have someone doing that, because they've just
Yeah.
spent $1,000 of their own money on basically doing a troll post that's going to get described anyway. So I think
I would hope.
that's that. I mean, yeah, sucks to be them. But you have so many like things now, especially with AI, where you are able to identify whether people are significant or not. You could literally run a name through AI, and the
Yeah.
AI will find out whether or not they're an active poster or a troll, and kind of come to
Mhm.
that conclusion probably
True,
very
true.
easily. And
Yeah.
and they will have access to all this, and this will be able to do that for them. So someone's job role could be very easily done by
Hmm.
doing this, and then you can kind of filter through the chaff. That's what I would do, at least. I think that's the
Fair.
kind of solutions that I think it's just a shame that Blizzard haven't realized that the PvP community is one of the most dedicated communities in the game and always has been.
Oh,
The ones that always queue no
yeah.
matter what. And I think
I
that's
think
that's
they.
kind of the
I think they know it. I think they do know it. I think it just comes down to executive level where they're using specific uh, key metrics, and they're doing all this like metric looking and trying to figure out, based on these numbers, this is where we're going to put money, and the only gamble that they really did was into housing, if you want to even call that a gamble, because the community's been screaming for it for years, and they had to go to other games that did it already before they could actually implement it in World of Warcraft. But I don't know. I feel
yeah,
like
agreed.
that's the thing. I think they know how much PvPers put into the game, but yet, metric wise, those people who want to build things for us have to justify it to the people who design the budgets and the production pacing. And when they turn in and say, we want to build something for this community, oh, well, how many people are there? Well, it's X amount. Well, that's like an eighth or a tenth or maybe a 16th. Like, I don't know. We don't even know numbers really. I know, you know, people pull numbers, but we don't even know. So let's say it's a tenth of the player base. They're like, you want to spend that much on a tenth of the player base? Like, why? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like I get it.
yeah.
I understand. I understand that that's the case. I just think it's very sad
Mm-hmm.
that we don't have this as a like we don't have something that's properly dedicated, because the truth of the matter is that we might be a smaller part of the community in comparison, but at some point people stop queuing M+, people stop queuing raids, and it only becomes a
Yeah.
very small percent that are pushing for things like WoW PvP is, no matter how low down they are, will continuously queue and try and get better. Like I think that's the biggest thing, and I think they could tap into that side of the community. Like if WoW died tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
and they created a separate arena program,
Yep.
I could assure you that a lot of WoW PvPers would still continue to play the game,
Oh,
and
yes.
you'd lose
Yeah.
all the raiders. The raiders would be gone. Then no one would be
Well,
there.
yeah.
But the
That's
WoW
because,
PvPers,
yeah.
they would continue.
I would counter that if they got rid of, if WoW died tomorrow and they turned around and there was like a stand up of just Mythic Plus dungeon running, I think that would actually trump what you would see from the, at least initially. 5 years down the road, that would die because you can only run a dungeon so many times, versus the PvP would still be going. So
But
I would argue that.
the thing with I would say with M plus that I think where I don't think that would be the case is the fact that M plus is a big part of the MMO feel. The
Yeah.
MMO feel being that you sometimes go to raids to get your base, and you do M plus and you go around the world, and it's like dungeons are a part of the storyline, a part of that kind of MMO feel,
Yeah.
that part of WoW that as it's been. Whereas Arena basically is its own separate mini game within
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
you could literally get a sort of standalone character, and you could just have it like as a customizable
Yeah.
with classes that could run into like a little central lobby, and then gets pulled into a queue for arena, and have that as a standalone game, and people would still play it because they'd play it in the same way that people play League or
Yeah.
Dota or anything like that. Like it's you're pulled into a separate instance that has the combat, and you push for rating.
Mhm.
Obviously WoW has that second thing of like mounts and getting around the air, getting around, and varying different rewards that you get in the same way that
Mhm.
maybe League would have, and they'd have to figure that one out. But mounts is still a cool thing, and people still like showing off. So
Yeah,
I think realistically speaking, it would probably be far better than a standalone Mythic Plus
I don't
game.
disagree. I'm just saying, like, as far as numbers go, like Mythic Plus right now is by far the endless treadmill of running, queuing and for gear. Like it's just this constant churn. Um, it just number wise and how many people queue it and the reasoning for it. So
Yeah.
just want to roll back. Uh, so you talked initially. You talked about a bunch of the classes that you found are fun to play, that are just blasting. Um, Aside from, you said warriors seem to melt a bit, which I suspect is likely because you're playing basically double caster. Uh,
Mm.
what other classes, what other specs are you finding that are on the weaker side that you've been fighting against?
It's a good question. I think stuff that's been weaker weak against to play against. I think I haven't played against a lot. I would say, I mean, you don't see dragons that often.
Okay.
Like you don't often you see like preservation evoker maybe once,
Mm-hmm.
but otherwise, I think I've seen maybe one augmentation. Augmentation doesn't seem to be okay, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't say they're the best.
Okay.
And I've not seen a devastation really. Like I think evoker's probably one of the least played at the minute. I've barely seen any shadow priests as well. Like
Okay.
everyone is literally playing rets and
Mm-hmm.
hunters and warriors. I see a lot of havoc demon hunters. I mean, people just are kind of playing meta. Like it's
Yeah.
you don't like I haven't seen a huge amount of warlocks, but people do mostly play meta
Fair.
champions
Yeah.
meta classes. So
Well, it's kind of like I said, it's week one right now, right? So people are trying to get that initial CR burst before they switch over to alts or something, I guess.
exactly.
Yeah, because I heard Frosty Case are not in a very good spot. Uh, I
No.
haven't I haven't really heard much about Evokers, but I'm not surprised. I'm trying to think what
Frosty
else.
Ks are always the sort of spec that gets really shafted by any sort of DK nerf or any DK
Hmm.
change. Like unless they get like a load of front loaded damage like they had last patch,
Yeah,
they don't really do much. The kit just isn't built that way. Like they're basically built around 1 minute goes. So although there are people that continue to get rank one and continue to get gladiator with Frosty K, they're playing a very specific comp and they play it well. Like for
yeah,
example,
yeah,
Zeke
yeah.
and Butter and people like that. So like they'll play it. They're sort of you Frost Dragon Cleave,
Hmm.
and they'll play it a very specific way because it's been buffed to work that way.
Yeah.
I'd say like enhancement looks really strong as well, and Ellie looks strong too.
Yep.
But rest of shamans feel weak. Mist
Hmm.
weavers feel weak.
Yeah, I
It
heard
very
that.
much is like a holy paladin, mist weaver, disc slash holy priest meta. You know, you,
What about Boomkin and Feral?
Boomkin seems okay. Feral seems okay. Like it's hunters seem really really strong. BM looks
Yeah.
disgusting in all honesty, and it feels like their pets just run at you and just you're perpetually dead. So I think there are a lot of weak classes out there, but I wouldn't
Hmm.
say they are. I wouldn't say the gap is huge. I think they could definitely bring them into line, but some of the better specs I would say are good because they are built that way to be good, like rogues. So
Yeah. Always back to the rogues. I sense
always
some
back to the
bias
rogues.
there, Jake.
Oh, there's a huge amount of bias. Rogues are horrible. Like it's just rogues or mages are always really good. And I do say warlocks are also very, very good. Basically,
Hmm.
any class that has got 3 DPS specs will always have one very good DPS spec. Always.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't matter whether it's a frost mage, it'll be a fire mage or an arcane mage, one
Hmm.
of them will be broken. Same with rogues. Rogues also do that. Rogues will
Yep.
have either 2 or 3 broken specs.
Yeah.
Uh, or
It
maybe
seems to
maybe
always be
just
the
one,
case. Yeah.
rarely, but
Yeah.
either sub rogue will be broken or acid because they have to, because they have 3 DPS specs. Whereas if Windwalker isn't broken, then if Windwalker is like really bad, like you pick another class
Yeah.
because you have no other DPS you can play. Like yeah, you could play a healer, I guess, but you have no other
Who
DPS you can
wants to do
play. So
that?
yeah, God, who'd roll healer? Healers are weird and strange and
Yeah.
without sunlight. So but that's the kind of thing. It's,
Send your hate mail to Tempest Jake on Twitter.
yeah, Tempest Jake. I wish. So yeah, it's definitely one of those sort of things where if you've got triple DPS in your class as a specs, then you are always going to be strong. And I'll stand by it.
Yeah.
Warlock players will hate me, but it's so true. Like, either Demo is
Yeah,
broken or
no, you're
Destro is
not wrong.
broken.
You're not wrong. It's just whether or not somebody actually wants to play that other spec. Like I applaud anybody that can play Demo, but honestly, I just don't like it. I don't like the gameplay feel of it, like compared to Affliction or Destro.
The worst part about it is Demo's best iteration, in my opinion, was Dragonflight Season 1. Like they've made it really simple, which is that you build up, you cast hand Gul'dan to get imps, you stack as many imps as you possibly can, get as many demons out, and then you pop Tyrant, and then Tyrant literally rinsed people.
Yeah.
And that made so much sense. Like as a sort of gameplay mechanic, it made total sense because it did loads of damage. Yeah, you know what, you could kite it, fine, that was like a part of it, and that really sucked. But it was understandable gameplay that wasn't just sort of like nothingness.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays Demo feels so wet and just grim to play.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing half the time with Demo though. It's just like I'm pushing buttons. It's
Whereas building all the damage into Tyrant was really good. I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate the Tyrant bugged every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just like
always.
What are you doing? Go there.
What are you doing, Step Demon? Chasing after you behind pillars. Yeah.
What's one thing you would change?
Oh, one thing I'd change. I think one thing I would change at the minute is I would really like to see some addressing balances and like actual desire to get some feedback from top players, at the very least.
Fair. I feel like that would be awesome. We just need top players to also be willing to sit down and not just yell on social media for their own clout.
I don't think they would. I think some of the best ones would keep it professional, for sure.
Oh no, I'm sure it's just a matter of getting them there. I find, like, I remember a little insider baseball. I remember talking to some people, and that back in the day, AWC and that used to ask for feedback, and they got none. Like they're asking to take information and hand it over to, like, inside. They're inside the company. Give us the information. We can hand it over to the devs and try to make the game better. And nobody even took them up on it. They'd rather sit on their YouTube channels or on their social media accounts and scream about something for clout.
What I will say is that I had Sarah ask me that once whilst I was doing the tweeting, like whilst Sarah was working in Blizzard, and I had nothing to say because I have no bugs that I could report. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. It would be like having to go back through, 500 days worth of tweets to being like, what did I complain about at this point? It's like, it's impossible at that point.
Yeah.
We could talk about the balancing and saying like, yeah, I'm sure I could feed back to them directly to Blizzard and say, make that X account, make that Discord account, make something.
Sure.
But they just say nah. And at that point, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find that very specific place for people to levy their complaints to. So, but you can't blame us if we can't tell you right there and then. But I know what you mean. Like it definitely is. There is definitely a aspect where some people don't want to. But I do think a majority of top end players would, after all this time.
I would hope so.
Do it.
I hope so. Right now, I don't even know what I would change. Again, I'm not playing. I haven't played it. I haven't dipped my toe into it. So I think the one thing that I will say that I'm hesitant about is that MMR is going to be janky and broken these first few weeks. And I am concerned that we're going to have a repeat of season 1 where the devs got too busy with everything else and it got ignored too long. So
yeah.
And the worst part about that is that end of season is going to hit, and people who were 2,800 last season are going to struggle to get to 2K this season, and it's going to feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I think they definitely need to massively up the MMR for sure.
I I feel like they should aim to have the end of season ladder have ratings similar to what last season was. If they're not gonna
Yes,
do the platinum, gold, diamond, whatever, all that other stuff, then maybe they should actually try to manufacture a equivalent amount of MMR so that the ladder feels the same season over season.
for sure.
All right,
I agree.
shout outs. Who do you want to shout out, bud?
I'm gonna shout out. Oh God, I don't even know who to shout out. Shout out everyone that watches the podcast and listens
Yes,
in, especially if you're listening in on our various streaming sites. Like, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to us rant, talk about the state of things, and please do let us know if you're listening what you think and
absolutely.
and how you feel about everything.
Absolutely. And you there, you know, I know you're listening right now. Thank you personally to you. You're awesome. And you too. You're awesome too. All of
Yeah,
you.
actually, and you standing behind him, yeah, you're awesome. Well, awesome. Just want to let you know. Anyway, I think we could do that forever.
We could. We could. I'm going to give a quick shout out to the Discord. I'm going to everybody over there in the Discord, the great conversations, the information. It's a great little spot to share information, things that are going on, how people feel about the game, and to connect with other passionate people about PvP without the toxicity that is supposedly only in PvP and not PvE. I'm just gonna drop that little one right there at the end of the show.
Yep,
All right,
I'm sure.
Jakes, where can people find us?
Yeah, where can people find us? Well, firstly, you can contact us directly on X at technically_PvP or on Blue Sky at technicallypvp.bluesky.social. Or you can even send us an email to technicallypvp@gmail.com. So you can do that, but you can also join us on join all of the discussions over on our Discord. And just to remind you as well, we are also hosted on Libsyn. So a link to that website will be in the show notes. So don't forget that we also have the Bonus Roll website, which has a podcast directory with us and many other great shows. And you can find that at www.bonusroll.gg. This directory has a review system, so please head on over there and tell everyone what you think of our favorite show, of your favorite shows, not our favorite shows, your favorite shows, including our own. There we go. I got through that. I got through it.
And when in doubt, just Google Technically PvP and you'll find us. Links will be in the show notes, like we said. I want to thank everyone for listening. Good night, everybody.